Everybody, it's Annette from The Art of Intuition. And today we are going to talk about human and humanity, which is a video I know I did. I remember this one. Around the beginning of the COVID reality, so around 2020, I did the difference between human and humanity video. And it has kind of come back up for me a little bit, so I wanted to kind of delve into it a little bit more and try to make the distinction, because a lot of people think human and humanity are the same thing. Our human aspect and humanity, they coexist together. They are the same. They are in a sense two sides to the same coin, but they are not the same. Our human aspect is our unconscious aspect. Some people will call it the unconscious part of our soul, in a sense. It is completely disconnected. It has no connection to source. It has no connection to any other parts of our aspects. It's completely on an island. That's always how I look at my human aspect. It's completely on an island. It shows up. It doesn't know why it's there. It has no idea really what's going on. It has its own world it creates. It has its own stories it creates. It has everything it creates. It creates this whole mosh posh of reasons of why everything's happening, none of which are true. But that's what our human does. It creates stories. If it doesn't create the stories and live from the trauma of all those stories and all those experiences, it can't survive. It reacts on emotions. You've gotten to a certain stage in your ascension when you're no longer acting on emotion. You're not creating a reality based on an emotion. You are creating a reality based on a sense of purpose and creation energy, but not because of an emotion. You're not being goaded into doing something because you're angry or you're ashamed or you're greedy. You're not having any of that anymore. You'll still have those emotions come up, but you recognize them for what they are. You're not creating anything based on an emotion. You're not fueled by emotion. You're fueled by creation. It's a big shift in your process when you get there. So if our human aspect is so unconscious, then why does everyone want to band together and assist humanity? Isn't that just assisting the human? And this is where we want to sort of pull it apart, because humanity is the higher aspects of our soul coming together to assist each other. That is humanity. That is what feels like our humanity, that we're all the same person, that we're all one person. If one person is not doing well, then technically none of us are doing well. Our human does not think that way. Our human doesn't care. And I'm going to say it doesn't care because it doesn't do anything to prevent it. We can have very, very wealthy people and people that completely, prince in the pauper. You completely wealthy people, completely people who have nothing. And that's okay. Our human doesn't care. As long as we're on one epsilon and not the other, we don't really care. We can say we care, but we don't care enough to shift anything in the system, the human systems, to balance anything out. And even if we wanted to, we have to find all new systems to do that, because the systems in place couldn't even do that. So we're okay with certain levels of greed. We don't have a problem with it as long as we're on the right side of it. We're okay with certain levels of persecution as long as we're not being persecuted. Our human aspect is fine as long as it's fine. As long as it's getting what it needs, it's getting everything that it feels like it needs to be whole, which is just all the external stuff that really doesn't fill anything. But like I said, our human aspect's just like greedy little child. It just wants everything when it wants it. It doesn't want to hear why it can't have it. And even if it's told it can't have it, it's just going to try to grab it all and hide it somewhere where it can have it later. It doesn't want to listen. If something says no to it, it just gets pissed. It has a big story around it, and it'll stomp away and have a fit. That's what our human aspect does. And we'll see our human aspect really kind of biting back, in a sense, when we start shifting out of it and start transcending it. It's still there. We just don't allow it to make decisions anymore. We don't make decisions from it. We don't look at it and say, yeah, it's okay. It's okay for me to have 7 cars and other people, not even have a house. That's okay as long as I have the 7 cars. And when we say it out loud, it feels ludicrous, that could exist, but it does exist. And it exists everywhere. That's not what humanity is. And we see glimpses of humanity. We see glimpses of people assisting other people when things, get really rough. But look how rough things have to get for people's humanity to kick in. It takes a long time for their humanity to kick in. And even if it kicks in for a while, they can't hold it. Because we couldn't hold it either. We couldn't hold humanity, that love for humanity, the love for the higher aspects of those people coming through. They can't hold the aspect for long, but they can still act from that aspect. They can still all be the same in a sense, and see people and not as different based on class, based on money, based on race. Everyone's the same. It doesn't matter. They can feel the connection and they want to make that connection. That's humanity at its best form. We can see what we do to different animals on the earth, and we want to assist that. That is what humanity is. It's the higher aspects of everyone coming through to assist each other with nothing to gain. But it's not what the human can hold. The human can touch humanity. Other aspects can come in, higher aspects can come in, soul aspects, galactic aspects to assist in different things. But our human will go back to being human once the pressure's off. Once it got really, really bad, we had this massive earthquake, we had this absolute disaster, and everyone had to band together, or I don't know, we're being invaded by Martians, whatever it was. You see it a lot in the movies like that. All of a sudden, something else seems to make more sense, and there's another way to interact with people, there's another way to be. But look how far we have to be pushed for that to come through. Some people have a different bar than others. Some people don't have to be pushed quite as far. But still not being able to really hold it. And still kind of going back once the crisis is over, I'm going to go back and be what I was going to be before. What I was living for my human aspect, living for me. And not really looking at what's going on with everyone else. So, humanity is what comes out, really, of Ascension. Being able to just live for humanity, be there for others from your purest state. Not break off and be human, and then when the chips are down, okay, let me dig in here and I'm going to find my humanity. You see that, so that catchphrase a lot, finding the humanity, look at the humanity. Where's the humanity? Well, human doesn't have any. So if you're looking at a human aspect and asking for humanity, there isn't any there. They don't even comprehend that. The human aspect is there to look out after itself, to keep you alive, to keep us safe. That's what it did. That's what its purpose is. It is not there for this big intellectual thinking. It's not there to break down, the universal secrets. It's not there to do that. It's merely there as kind of like a cardboard stand-in to just stand there and be like, okay, yeah, let me do that because that looks like a shiny little thing I want to go do, and I'm going to go do that because that looks like that could be fun. I'm going to go over here and maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll go do this over. I don't even know. We'll see. I just want to have a good time. I don't really give a shit. I want to be okay, and I don't care if everyone else's life is completely shit as long as I have everything I want. That's the human aspect. Humanity is not a lot of the human aspects banding together. Because human aspects won't even really band together. I mean, they will come together for a while because misery loves company. But they're still going to be looking out for themselves. So it's almost like the phrase, it's kind of funny that even the word human is in humanity because it is so different. But until we transcend the human, we can't really get to our humanity. Ascension is holding that love for all those souls and seeing that no one is any better. There's no hierarchy. There's nothing like that. Everyone's the same. Our human makes all these things where no, everybody's not the same. Some people deserve more than other people, right? the whole human race deserves more from the planet than all the animals do. You know, we can tear it apart. We don't care. It doesn't matter to us. As long as we're okay. You know, it's we got one back we're watching, and that's our back, and we don't really care about what's going on anywhere else. I turn a blind eye to it. It doesn't matter to me. So when we start really looking at inhuman and looking at humanity, we want to be able to see the difference and feel the difference when you're making a choice. Am I doing this for humanity? Am I doing this for my human? I think the video I did years ago is human versus humanity. You know, it's kind of a duality in that now when I look at it. It's not human really versus humanity. It's where am I coming from? Am I coming from unity, which is humanity? Or am I coming from separation, which is human? You know, why am I here? Why am I showing up to this reality? If I have an agenda, I'm showing up as a human. I don't give a shit about humanity. I'm here because I want something. Human's always going to want something. That's how it's fueled. That's just how we can't be angry at our human aspect to show up that way. That's the only thing it knows. We don't take our human aspect and all of a sudden make it our soul aspect. It just, we bring in our higher aspects and they now overrule the human aspect. We don't actually, I know I say a lot about transcending it. We transcend it as we don't listen to it anymore. We don't really get rid of it. It's still there. It doesn't make choices anymore. I can still hear mine from time to time bitching, and sometimes I'll go all into my human aspect and be like, what am I doing? You know, we know it's there, but we're not making, you know, it's almost like we try to take a human reality and make it a higher line reality. We try to take our human, say, okay, well, now I'm going to make this human aspect something else. You can't change the human aspect. What aspect are we coming from? That's the question we want to ask. Not let me try to morph my human aspect into some kind of cross version of something that's kind of touching on higher frequencies, but still really concerned about all my human stuff. Your human life and your higher your soul life, they don't look the same. They're not going to look the same. They're just not. They're not based on the same template. They're not designed in the same way. They're not going to look the same. But there's a reason why our humans' lives didn't make us happy, because they're not meant to either. So, okay. I think that's about as far as I'm going to go with that one today. A little short one. So keep practicing the art of intuition.